Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sujit and you're watching Mallu Mariner Vlogs, where you get authentic lifestyle videos. I normally do lifestyle entertainment videos on this channel, but today's video is a bit different. I wanted to make an informative video for all the seafarers who are stuck on board and eagerly waiting to go home. So after watching this video, you will have an overall idea what happening around the world with the crew change in maritime industry, especially happens in Singapore because we signed off recently from Singapore. So I'm going to explain you what the processes we went through and what you have to take care before you fly from Singapore. I'll also explain you what things you should keep in mind while traveling, as the COVID-19 pandemic is still there and we only have a chartered flight, especially to India and more the other part of the world. I will also explain you what to expect once you land in India. So if you find this video helpful, please do share this video, and if you have friends or family members or anyone who in the maritime industry or working on board a ship, this video might be very handy for them. So kindly share this video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first and foremost thing is that it was a long process for me to get my relief. Especially in my company, there were no crew changes for the past few months, and there was a deadline given, and after that they have been trying to repatriate seafarers who are overdue on their contract. My contract was completed in April and I was due on my last visit to Singapore. Since the company didn't had a policy of crew change and had completely suspended that crew change to a particular date, I was unable to sign off. So I spent more than 7.5 months on board until I finally signed off from Singapore on 24th. So these are the things which we had to do before you get relief from Singapore. The first and foremost thing is that you need to get an approval from the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore, which is the MPA, issuing authority for your no objection certificate. So for getting this no objection certificate, there are a few things that you need to fulfill. So one is the medical fitness test has to be done by an approved MPA doctor, and he has to issue a fit to fly certificate for you so that you can fly through a chartered or a repatriation flight, whichever available. And the second thing was your confirmed flight ticket. So if you have these two things, the medical certificate and the confirmation letter, then MPA can approve your crew change by assessing the other factor. MPA had put out a rule recently saying that your vessel will not be allowed to sail out until the off-signers get on board their flights. So they finally managed to find a flight for us just the day before we were intended to sign off. So they were actually kind enough to consider my case. In my case, my father passed away last month. I was trying to get off the ship since then. It's been a lot of emails to office, back and forth, and finally they tried to send me home from Singapore on compassionate grounds, and that's how the whole process started. The criteria is that everything has to be done within the 14 days, but the MP was kind enough to let me travel with the criteria of having this fit to fly and the confirmed ticket. So once you have the fit to fly obtained from the approved MPA doctor, for us the two tests were done, which is the oxygen level and the temperature. The COVID-19 test was not necessary as our other vitals were okay. After getting all these three things, which is the no objection certificate and the fit to fly and the flight details, you are allowed to go to the immigration. We went with the agent to the immigration, of course by wearing the proper PPE, and if you have sanitizer, please do carry a sanitizer. It's very important, especially in the immigration where you have to get the thumb impression. It's always better to sanitize your hand after all the documentation works. And they take the photo as normal immigration procedures inside the port. So at the immigration, after you finish all the paperwork, they will ask you Singapore arrival form through an app. You can also download the app and pre-fill the app before you go to the immigration to save some time. But I would highly suggest you to do this at the immigration counter because the questions over there is a bit confusing. So if you make a mistake, then it might be a problem for your departure. So better you fill it at the immigration counter. They will give you an iPad and you can fill it online, all your details, the last port, the next destination, and things like that. And once that is done, they will clear off with your documents, and once you're out of the immigration, they will again check your temperature, and if your temperature exceeds 37.5, you are not allowed to fly. So regardless of what all documents you have, if your temperature exceeds at that checkpoint, then you are not allowed to fly. So we had these many hurdles until we reach the airport. And there one important thing you should keep in mind is that the mask is compulsory in Singapore, and if you are found without a mask, then it's a chargeable offense. You'll be charged several hundreds of dollars for not wearing the mask. So be careful if you are traveling via Singapore. Do carry and wear a mask at all time. The airport were almost deserted. There were very few people, as there were only few. Actually, it was only 5 flights, including us. So we had a Qatar Airways flight. So once the ticket and everything was ready, we went to another security check area. And once security check was done, we entered the airport. And about the food, the food court, the stores, everything was closed except one shop in the food court. That is probably the only option you might have if you're having a late flight. I'm not sure whether it's in the daytime which they have any other shops, but for us it was night time, and there was only this one shop on the food court which was open. And the thing is that all the sanitizers and temperature thermometers were kept outside each shop, and you have to enter your name, your temperature, and you have contact number to be written on that register before going to have the food. And one important thing to keep in mind is that the size of sanitizer, if you have a larger bottle, they won't allow you to carry it on the airplane. So always carry a sanitizer which is a smaller bottle, like less than 100 ml, which might come in handy. And as far as the flight is concerned, there was social distancing, that the one guy was sitting on the aisle, and the window seat there was nobody on the middle seat. Other than the face mask which we carry, we were not provided with any of the PPE, but the crew was wearing all the PPE. But the service was normal. They provided refreshment at the beginning and breakfast before landing at Doha. So we were flying from Singapore to Doha. So we finally reached Doha after flying for 7 hours, and our next flight was the Indigo chartered flight. The Doha was not organized at all. I don't know whether it's because of the too much chartered flights being arranged or their last moment cancellation. There were also Vande Bharat flights to different places, so that might be also the reason for delay. So we were asked to come at different timing at different locations, and the boarding pass was only provided just before the boarding time. So we were waiting on long queues there. There were people all around. The social distancing was not up to the mark. Once you are near to the counter, then there is a social distancing marks which been made on the floor. So there is enough distance that you have to keep among yourself before you board. Especially in Indigo flight, they are providing you with a face shield, some sanitizer, a face mask. Once you enter the flight, the social distancing thing was all off, because you were sitting close to each other. All the seats were completely full, and you end up having only this face shield, but supposed to wear this face shield and the mask throughout the journey. So whatever time you are flying, you are supposed to wear this all through the entire flight time. As far as the food is concerned, pre-packed food already kept on the designated seats, so you can have it at your own discretion. The crew were wearing all the safety masks and the safety gowns, everything full packed. All the safety measures has been carried out in a good manner. So we reached almost around 2 o'clock in the morning, and first thing was to dispose of all the safety gear which you used on the airplane. So there is a special place provided for hazardous waste disposal, so you have to go and put on those bins which were specially provided for those kinds of wastes. So once you have done that, they will provide you with 2 forms. These forms actually will be given to you before you board the flight, so you have to fill that form. It's a health declaration form. It's asking your details in India and your last port of call and the next port of call, and whether you have any symptoms or things like that. So you have to fill 2 forms pre-hand before you go to the immigration. And just before you enter the immigration, they will ask you to download the Arogya Setu app. You have to fill that app and activate the location service and the Bluetooth. And once the app is active, according to the information you provided, the app will show whether you are in a safe zone or you are at moderate risk, or whether you are at high risk, etc, etc. So once the immigration is cleared, then you will go to this health team which is sitting outside the immigration area. There are different health teams sitting according to different states. So whichever state you are from, you have to go to that particular zone which is been marked with numbers, and when you go there you have to provide all the details along with this form. The company has sent a circular saying that the compassionate relief will be considered as a waive off for quarantine in India, but unfortunately they did not allow me to travel to my final destination of Kochi, and I had to go for quarantine for 7 days in Mumbai. So right now I am in quarantine at the hotel, and I will have to stay here for another 7 days. And meanwhile, they will be conducting test for COVID-19. And once the test comes and everything is okay, then we are allowed to fly after 7 days. Coming back to the procedure at the counter. So basically at the counter, you have a list of hotels where your government approved quarantine facility is provided. So you have to book yourself the hotel which you want according to the list. So it was 3 in the morning almost that time, and we were trying to find a hotel whichever available, and finally managed to get one hotel. After that we were again made to wait outside for the transport. So transport has not been provided by the hotel guys. Government is providing the transport, the government buses and the mini buses. So they are grouped in the according to the hotel, and the guys will be taken to respective hotels from there. And at the hotel you will be sanitized, mask and everything will be removed, and your luggages will be disinfected with the smoke disinfectant machine. After everything, they will check the Arogya Setu app, and the Arogya Setu app status is okay, then you can check in. The check-in thing is, it's all based upon the plan. At the check-in time you have to pay the entire amount for the 7 days in order for you to check in. So you don't have any other option rather than paying the full amount before you check in. So once you check in, then you are given a room, but there is no room service. Food will be served 3 times a day, and the menu is a standardized menu. But the thing is that since the COVID-19 is more pronounced in Mumbai right now, the food availability is not as you might think of. So that was my experience with the charter flights. There are different places which are allowing crew change, especially Hong Kong recently have made crew change possible for a lot of guys. There have been a lot of sign-ons and sign-offs from Hong Kong, which is a good thing at least. And as far as commercial flights are concerned, there is no news in India that when the commercial flights will be actually opened. So the only hope for us is to have this all these chartered flights and somehow manage to get these flights and get back home. So I hope this video had given you some idea about what you can expect and what things that you should keep in mind. So if you found this video helpful, please share this video on social media so the other seafarers who are awaiting for the sign of has an idea and prepare themselves to fly safely and reach back home to their loved ones. So that's it for now guys. See you guys on the next one. Bye.